to a young lad about the age of 24. I was a gentleman to some, but not to others. One of those people was a young, beautiful woman by the name of Lucy West. Sadly, she died 30 years ago of a horrible, horrible death. I couldn't even speak about that time now. But I will never, and I mean never, forget the man that killed my dear Lucy. That man was Count Dracula. When my dear Lucy passed, I swore to take my revenge. Me and my good friends Jonathan, Harker, and Dr. Van Helsing traveled to Borgo Pass. We followed the cold, icy carriage tracks across the dirt road. And then at some point, we heard horses. We were getting closer, closer, and closer. And I saw that pale, red-lipped, trash-taking pile of fish guts. Then, as we got closer, Jonathan jumped into the carriage driver. His face was pale white with red, gleaming eyes. The couch hit an old black tree. The coffin fell to the ground. I jumped off my horse, regretting nothing. I ran towards the coffin. I ripped open the lid with my anger. I grabbed a piece of the broken tree, and I stabbed, and stabbed. There he was, lying in a pool of blood that belonged to all those people, staring at me with his red, fiery eyes. I looked at myself, thinking, what have I become? So that's that. That's the end of my story.
Dear Diary, I have no idea how long I'm going to live. My poor friend Lucy has lost her life. Last night, I was dreaming of golden dust, but then something woke me up. I heard sound of a crying child. I got off the bed and peeked through the window. I saw a dark figure. It was moving. Hello, I said. There was no answer. I walked to the balcony. I felt like someone or something was behind me. I slowly turned around. I felt strange. The smell was strange. My heart was beating faster than ever. I closed my eyes. As I opened my eyes, there stood right in front of me Count Dracula. He gave me an evil smile and said, "Nothing can help you now. You are in my power." I gave a terrible cry before he thrust his sharp teeth on my throat. All I remember after that is me drinking his blood. I looked back inside the room and saw 3 familiar faces. It was Van Helsing, Arthur, and Jonathan. Van Helsing held up a cross and Dracula's face was full of anger. It became dark. Suddenly, the count was gone. I looked back at my husband and began to cry and cry. Van Helsing carried me back to the house and wiped the blood off my throat.
Dear Diary, over some time I've been thinking of a memory, one that haunts me whenever I think of it, but at the same time makes me smile. I finally decided to write it down. It is a memory of Count Dracula. I won't tell you that all, for I will tell you the most exciting part of the story, how Count life ended. Mina and Van Helsing were traveling to Castle Dracula, while me and Arthur traveled by water whilst following Dracula and his evil colleague. Occasionally, we had to hide in the forest when we felt the Count could sense us. After a few days, we finally arrived. We both followed the carriage. The man that drove the carriage had red eyes and wore a dark, long cloak that went over his back. Then suddenly, Arthur and I both saw it. The driver had caught a glimpse of us. With a blink of an eye, we were onto him. Arthur and I rode our horses on both sides. I jumped on the back of the carriage where the Count's coffin was, while Arthur distracted the driver, and I pushed the coffin off and watched as it broke open. Then, lying there on the snow, was the evil Count Dracula, who had an evil smile that changed my life. Arthur came running towards me, with the driver following behind. We got it over quickly, while the Count screamed. The driver dropped to the ground instantly and dried up and broke into little pieces. Arthur took his knife out and cut the Count's head off. The Count was dead, and all was over at last.
Dear Diary, this is me, Lucy. I'm starting to worry. All these strange nights ahead. All these strange dreams. I could hardly sleep. I feel weak. As if there is only one drop of energy left in me. Despite being my last night of my life, I might as well tell you my story while I still can. The first night, me and my good friend arrived. I felt really happy to have his company, but my happiness didn't last long. I remember waking up in the middle of the night. I had a low, croaky voice outside my balcony. I tried to ignore it. The voice was luring me there, hypnotizing me to walk outside the balcony. I stood up in bed and opened the balcony doors and stepped outside. The cold chill of wind froze me in place. I literally couldn't move. I felt pain shut down my neck. The pain was unbearable. When I woke up the next morning, I felt really weak. I couldn't stand up. Mina told me that I had 2 red marks on my neck that looked like bites from an animal with sharp teeth. I told her not to worry, but I was wrong. Arthur, one of the doctors, came to see me. I guess Mina called him. She told Arthur about me sleepwalking to the churchyard and the 2 red marks on my neck. Me sleepwalking? Weird. Arthur tried to heal me. I felt a bit better. He said I had lost a lot of blood. My dreams, my nightmares are coming true. Burning eyes, wolves, Dracula. Dear Diary, not know how many days you'll live until you turn into a nasty creature. It's just every day I feel more lifeless. I can feel people pulling me down every day and taking my energy away. I have nasty nightmares, and my marks on my necks are painful. This is what poor Lucy felt when she died. Lucy, she just couldn't control herself. Sometimes she turns mad and hurt other people. Would it be like that? Would it turn into a nasty creature? I'm starting to feel like, even with Jonathan, I feel like a stranger. Sometimes, just sometimes, I want to die to get away from this misery and pain, so I wouldn't need to suffer. But I need to be here for Jonathan. I want to know how Jonathan is. I want to know if he's safe. Everything together is too much to think of. My best friend died. We were trying to capture the most dangerous creature. I'm confused. Actually, I don't know what I'm doing. I wish that I didn't encourage Jonathan to go to the castle, so none of this would happen. It's my entire fault. Lucy's dead, and everyone's in danger.